Hello, hello, hello. I know I've started a few minutes late, you guys. This is a very important video that we're going to discuss some things, and it's Black History Month. There's a lot going on here in the country. How that fits into hoodoo. How can we continue on our healing journey, even though all these things are happening around us? Everything that our ancestors fought for is on the line right now. Looking at everything that's transpiring here. So today I said I was going to come here. I was going to talk about, hello, who is this? Hi, it's the real Tashi. Thank you for being here today. I hope all is well with you as well. I'm reaching out to all my subscribers, all my supporters today. And today, all day today, John Horse has been coming up in my head every time I call on the ancestors and I think about what's going on. John Horse comes up. John Horse comes up. And in case you newbies who don't know John Horse, he was a revolutionary that fought against slavery. He was a Black Seminole Indian, and he and the Red Indian fought together. They fought together to fight slavery and all of that. I mean, and it was just a few of these men. It was just a few of these men, but they were experts at combat. I mean, every time the United States military came at them, they came with a lot of soldiers. And John Horse, and I forget the other guy name, John Horse and his companion defeated them. Even so, when John Horse, when they sought asylum in Mexico, you see how things are repeating themselves again? These Black people, Black Indians, Red Indians, because we were here a long time before the Red Indian, got here. We ran into Mexico, and Mexico gave us asylum. And then they agreed some kind of way. They came to some sort of treaty, but those same people, those ancestors, which are ancestors, those same people went in to help America train their soldiers because they were so good in combat. They were undefeatable. They even went on into Mexico and trained a lot of their soldiers too in combat. Why am I saying this? Because everything that's going on now, and keeping my faith, continuing on my healing journey, and remembering those ancestors is revolutionary and important. So if you don't know the story about John Horse, I advise you to go look that up. I think that's that. Every time I keep asking the ancestors for guidance, what is the lesson behind this? What is going on here? And that John Horse, the story of John Horse kept replaying in my mind. So I was like, is this a John Horse moment? They said, yes, this is a John Horse moment. Okay. And remembering those ancestors. Go to your ancestors, ask them for guidance, ask them what you should be doing right now. Ask them, seek their guidance, because even under circumstances like this, our ancestors had to seek asylum in other places and resettle. And I know we put a lot of work in this land. This is our land. We know that. We absolutely know that. But the United States government, I don't care how they want to spin it, talking about they want less government. No, it's the same government that just wants control. No different. No different. This is no different. Okay. So this is a government that's always had these sort of issues with us. So when we start looking at direction from our ancestors, keep an open mind. Keep an open mind. But that's certainly what came up on me today. We need more John horses. See, we didn't got comfortable in here and we didn't forgot who we are, but we need more John horses, or it's going to take that sort of spirit to seek freedom in this country. But we need more John horses. We really do. We've gotten too comfortable here. This Black History Month has been so different from the other Black History Months. We haven't even had time to really focus, on the ancestors the way we need to because of all these transitions that has come upon us. Okay? And so we got to remember we have ancestors that are revolutionary. They are leaders. You saw what happened in Haiti. These are these same ancestors. So go read about John Horse and how he defeated, no matter what the United States Army threw at them, they were able to defeat them and protect, hundreds and hundreds of families. Just these small tribe of men. And it made the United States so upset because they said if we can just get this red man to himself, we can probably manipulate him. But every time he talked to this Black Indian, he gets more insight. He gets more insight and he don't play our way. And that right there, they could not break that bond. They could not break that bond. They could not break that. And John Horse, there's pictures of him. This was a Black Seminole Indian. And you'll see some of them in Oklahoma. They even have a street in Oklahoma called Seminole Street in Oklahoma. So they're not gonna tell you. It's like history is repeating itself again. We keep that in your mind. Remember your ancestors. Remember that they had to make home for us. Okay? Sometimes they had to resettle. Okay? And I'm sure a lot of you are probably having some experiences right now. A lot of us are having a lot of experiences. But what I have been really, really focused on my healing journey. And realize too, because I've healed so much, realizing too that this is a toxic environment. Staying here in these conditions, just thinking about what our ancestors had to live through with Jim Crow, being hung from trees and things of that nature. Thinking about that, gosh, I have to pause for a minute. Thinking about that and looking at what they went through, and this thing really caused so much generational trauma, not just slavery, but the Jim Crow laws. Hello, Angel Scott. Hi, Angel Scott. But the things that they put them through. It impacted our families. Some of them were dysfunctional. Some of them became alcoholics. Some of them became narcissists. Some of them was bipolar. Some of them was schizophrenic. Some of them had PTSD. Oh, you're so welcome, Angel Scott. Some of them deal with all sorts of men. That's why hoodoo was created. Hoodoo was created for that. Hoodoo was created because there was no real justice for us. So now more than ever, it's time to get your hoodoo on. We might have to call on our ancestors like they did in Haiti. We might have to call on the spirit of John Horse. We might have to call on them to get up out of here. And really, it's just better for us to just get up out of here than to fight and squabble with greedy people. Because they're really their own problem. I'm definitely thinking about exiting the United States. When I think about, I was like, I was like, ancestors, do we need to do some marching, some more protests, and what's gonna fix it? I said no, because you already learned from that, and you see where that has gotten us. We didn't lost so many trying to show these folks how to be civilized, how to be human. We have did all that. We don't want to really lose no more of you. We appreciate if you just get up and go, because they are their own problem. They're going to self-destruct because they have we're not the scapegoat anymore. You see what I'm saying? We're not the scapegoat anymore. You have nobody else to blame. Because see, we know where this is going to go. The people that don't look like us, they the one are deceived, because as soon as we get up out of here, you're going to turn on each other. You'll make it a brown eyes. You don't like nobody with brown eyes. You got something against people with brown eyes. You going to make it about some type of division. That's what you do. This doesn't work. That doesn't work. The United States government, the way it is formed, it doesn't work without racism. Capitalism can't work without division. Okay? And right now, the tool they have been using is racism. Now, I'm trying to calm myself down. I want to make sure I stay grounded in this, grounded when I'm talking to you. There is no initiation in hoodoo. I'm sorry somebody told you that. There is no initiation in hoodoo, beloved. You are the initiation. You are hoodoo. It's in your bloodline. It's always been there. You may not know hoodoo, but hoodoo know you. You've seen it before in your family. You just didn't know it was hoodoo. I had somebody to contact me the other day and ask me, did I know of a hoodoo community in Arkansas? And I was like, no, but they didn't call themselves that. I was talking about this, I think last night on TikTok. There many of the churches that you see now, there's hoodoo churches right now, but you don't know that's a hoodoo church. They don't call themselves that. So when you see those churches that say that spiritualist church, they're not a denomination, but they say they're the spiritualist church, or a church of spiritual so-and-so, more than likely you're going to see some hoodoo workers in there. But again, they did never call themselves that. Even when I was a little girl and I came in contact with some of these people, I've seen it. I've seen them do it. They didn't call it that. Okay. It is no initiation into hoodoo, beloved. The first thing that you know is recommended, because hoodoo is ancestral. Hoodoo is ancestral. That's why the first thing you do is start communicating with your ancestors, especially the ancestors on this land. So start connecting with them. If you have anyone that really love you, a family member that love you in this life, and you know, you can start there. Okay, so you can start there. Just start, and they'll tell you where to go from there. When you can be consistent with communicating with them, whether you want to set up an altar at some point, you probably will. But if you want to set up an altar, you can start going there or going outside and pouring libations and just talking to them. Then you'll be moved to, they'll tell you what else to do. Okay. So you can go from that perspective. I was always, so let me, since I'm on that subject, there's also too, I think what I've seen with hoodoo, because it's still caught up in the constructs of some religion. I'll say this: you don't have to be Christian to be hoodoo. I mean, to practice hoodoo. Is some Christians that practice hoodoo. Yes, it's true that we use the Bible as a conjure book to practice hoodoo, but you don't have to be a Christian to practice hoodoo. Hoodoo hid up under Christianity, just like Catholicism hid up under, just like voodoo hid up under Catholicism. Okay, it's important that you know that, because what I've recognized in these people that's teaching hoodoo, because you got to remember, some of our ancestors could not read. The important thing about hoodoo, I think you can learn, is learning how to connect with nature, kind of learning where herbs are, because those are your ancestors too. That's why our ancestors had church in the woods near cedar trees, cypress trees, oak trees, things like that. They just hold ancestral energy. And that tree can tell the story of your ancestors. Okay, and a while. I'm telling you, yes, you have to leave here, because see, we are in the healing transition. We did our shadow work. You understand me? These people, they refuse to deal with their shadow. The ancestors got us in a place of healing and remembering. Okay? The best thing for us to do, I just believe that, because the ancestors keep telling me, John Horse refused to be enslaved again, refused to be a puppet again. This is revolutionary. You're going to have to do something that you don't want to do to be a revolutionary. And that's what they had to do. Change didn't come by us keep doing the same thing. Change kept coming because of the element of surprise and to do something innovative and different. We've done the marching, we've done the protesting, we've done the voting. We've had these so-called Black leaders that's supposed to be leading us, you know, and it has gotten us nowhere. So if we want to find sanity, and we want to find peace, and we want to truly heal, we're going to have to do a John Horse and get up out of here. And see, a lot of us are trying to leave. A lot of people's trying to leave, and coincidental planes are falling out the sky. Planes are falling out to sky. And so many things run through my mind when I see that. Especially when you deport all these people who want these farming jobs, that want the jobs that we particularly don't care for, because our ancestors did enough cotton picking and working on farms for somebody else. So that's traumatic for us. A lot of us don't want to do it. And I don't blame us, because our ancestors put in enough hours of doing that mess. You know? So if the Hispanics want to come in and do that, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But then you start talking about they taking black jobs. What black jobs? Is those the jobs you're gonna try to put us back into? You cancel the DEI, you know, with this, it's so many changes going on at such a rapid pace. Like the ancestors said, they have done this before. This is what they do. They are just like their fathers. These people are not interested in healing. You understand me? They don't want that. They don't want any of that. So the best thing for our livelihood and to honor, I feel like to honor our ancestors that preserved our life, because that's the reason why we're here. Because they went out fighting and everything. There wasn't no Jesus. It was your ancestors hanging from trees and stuff. You understand me? So the best thing to do is just leave here, because the ancestors are always with us, no matter where we're at. No matter where we're at. And the best thing, that if we've never, ever wanted to dive into hoodoo, now is the time. Now is the time to amp it up on protection, hot footing, you know, now is the time. Healing. Because if you don't see what's going on here, I would have missed it. Had I not been healing and going through my own program. Because I was talking to my counselor the other day. And I said, the anxiety that I was feeling. I've been feeling this anxiety since last year. I don't know if I talked to you guys about it when I was talking about the divine feminine and all these shifts and changes that's going on in relationships and things like that. I'm not sure if I talked about it here. But my anxiety was just so high. And I was telling my counselor, I was like, I feel like I'm in a toxic relationship. And I haven't been in a relationship for years. This whole environment, trying to get settled in it, peace, it is something else. You are financially being abused. Number one, because it is I have an altar. Okay, you have an altar. Okay, I would start. You need. I would say you start with the ancestors. If you feel a need to erect the ancestor altar, then do that. But first, connect with your ancestors before you go into hoodoo very deeply, because it's ancestral. So they're financially. They are financially abusing us. Okay, they already showed us that they can unalive us anytime they want to and excuse themselves, pardon themselves. Okay, they, you know, we don't have like any equal rights. I can go on and on and on about the oppression and about the abuse here that we have been accepting, and we have just been adjusting ourselves each time. Every time we get a minimum wage come up, everything else go up. Why? Why is that happening? We can never get where we need to be or go get this American dream with you doing that. Y'all claim to be the richest country in the world, but yet you make it hard for your citizens to thrive. Make that make sense. So you going around here just telling a damn lie. Propaganda, because you know you're none of that. You're none of that. You have been lying from the beginning. That's why I don't trust anyone who gets into that government, because again, if you understand the matrix that they are creating for you, it's an illusion. Like I'm seeing, for example, I'm seeing what's her name? Jasmine Crockett. What is the other lady name with the bald head? She's very beautiful. She has alopecia. But anyway, I see them, they're in the Democratic Party. I see them talking about reparations and things like that. But that's not what needs to be addressed here. I you know, for me, if I was them and I had that position, I know, King Anna. I'm going to get out of here. I don't care. The ancestors have told me that over and over again, to get myself up out of here, because I refuse to be sitting up here and you gonna keep me as a slave. And the crazy thing about it, which I don't know if that's true or not, I kind of think it's true because it's the second time somebody said that, they still want you to pay taxes here even though you're not here. That's how they got bonds and stuff on us. That's how they was able to get those bonds and build their wealth. They want you to still pay taxes here if you were born here. And I be damned, like somebody was telling me, what about the taxes? I don't give a damn about this taxes. We're talking about thugs here. We're talking about human traffickers here. We're talking about rapists here. That's what we're talking about. And you want me to give a damn about something that they made up. Maybe that's keeping you here, but that's not keeping me here. That's not keeping me here. I don't give a damn. I refuse to go through all that torture and stuff you put my ancestors through. I refuse to go through that stuff. I refuse to go through that. It's definitely going to be physical. That's why I'm going to get out of here. If you think about putting your hands on me or think about, could try to do anything that you did to my ancestors, I refuse to live like that. I'm not going to protest to you. I'm not marching no damn more. I don't give a damn about your votes. And for heaven's sake, I don't want to see nan black leader like Farrakhan or Al Sharpton. What's the other one name? Jesse Jackson. Sit your ass down, because you have did nothing to elevate our community, but keep us docile. You should have been rounded us up and got us the hell out of here and found us a land. We should have been got together in a seeked asylum and asked for some land. Just because there's many countries that know what these folks is like over here. They're willing to help us. They're willing. They already know. We just don't know we still slaves. We just don't know. We talk to some of those other countries. I know I had a chance to talk to some Chinese people, and I said, oh my gosh. They said, y'all don't even know that y'all slaves. Y'all government overpriced y'all for a living. They overtax y'all. He said, we don't pay taxes. We don't make over $3,000 a month. We don't pay taxes. Hell, we get tax on our paycheck. We get tax on groceries. Our children go in the store, they get taxed again. Hell, they can't even vote. They got to pay taxes on stuff they buy. And we just didn't know it. We're just coming to realization because of the continued brainwashing, because of all the trauma after another, after another, after another, after another. And of course, we've had our leaders too to brainwash us to tolerate this indecent treatment. Yeah, I heard, like the great mother told me, before they even said it, that they already planning to put bans on travel in the U.S. I just posted about that today. I just posted it. We should have got the hell up out of here. Too many brothers. I can go on Sandra Bland, Sonia Massey, Trayvon Martin, Kanika, what's her name? Kanika Jenkins. I can go on and on and on. The little boy Tamar Rice, they shot in the park. I can go on and we can go on and on and on and on. I'm not gonna stay in no house and that person don't want me there. Or I know they gonna try to poison me, assassin me. I'm getting my ass out of the house. You understand me? And it takes some revolutionary. We have did the fighting. You see what happened in Black Wall Street. Wipe that all out of whack. Drop bombs on these people. You understand me? These folks still ain't got their stuff back and know that stuff belong to them people. Then stole their property, then stole their business, then stole their land. We got black farmers right now where they being tortured because these people want their land. And it's theirs by right. It's their land. Now, anything, if you ever needed hoodoo, you need hoodoo now. Not calling, that only your ancestors can fix this. And we're going to need the strength of our ancestors to get up and get the hell out of here. Because there's no more marching. I'm looking at these women, black women, Democrats. It is a shame to me because I was like, I wouldn't even be talking about what he doing. Because every time I see y'all talking about what he doing. That's not what we need to hear. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Since he doing executive orders, what kind of executive order you gonna do? Because if it was me, I shut that hole down. I don't care if I wasn't the president. If I'm just a Democrat, the same way y'all pulled together to get Kamala to run, the same black women need to pull together and come up with their own political structure and overthrow that. I said it. Because it's going to be a black woman to do it. You best believe that. Stop tiptoeing around them. Because you're going to have to do some revolutionary. Stop reporting what they doing. What you going to do? Because you ain't doing nothing but spreading fear. You're only just focusing on the problem. What's the resolution? So are you helping him? Are you helping him? Because you ain't came here as a black person. I don't give a damn about this United States government. I don't give a damn about that. Most of us don't. I need to know that your allegiance is to the ancestors. I need to know that your allegiance is to your people. Your allegiance to your people, that's the problem. That's been the problem every time they get somebody up there that look like us. Their allegiance is to the United States government and not to their ancestors and their people. I said it. I said it. That's been the problem. They've been able to program us, get to our agenda, we gonna pay you. All money ain't good money. And all money ain't good. You heard what I said. They gonna give you a vision of what their happiness is. the American dream, all this bull crap. We know it don't take that to live. You understand me? None of that money gonna do you any good if you're on a deserted island with no money, with no food and no water and a whole bunch of damn money. What good is it gonna do you to have all that money and you ain't got nothing to eat? You ain't got no clean water to drink. Something you made up as valuable. And with our own power, we agreed to go along with it. We agreed that this could be a currency, an energy that serves us. And you've taken advantage of that. Yes, that's right. And no peace of mind. It ain't working. It ain't worth it to be slaving here at these jobs. And these jobs don't want to pay you. Your rent is more than what you get paid. That man ain't said nothing about all these homeless people. And then want to call these other countries third world countries. No, the hell they ain't. This is the third world country. Y'all enslave the souls of people. And I be damned if you gonna drag me back in that Christian church and dumb me down with that again. You're not gonna dumb me down with that again. That's how all of this started. Don't even get me with that fake Christian crap, because you ain't got. I got more Christianity in my pinky than they have in their whole damn body. Okay, so y'all can stop faking. They can stop faking and jiving with that. Then had a nerve to say, what did he say? Paula White is gonna be his pastor. And she's saying that saying no to the president is saying no to God. The insanity is sick, you know. But I don't see nothing but you making people sicker. And our ancestors have come too far. They have gave too much. We're going in a state of healing. We're going back to our natural state. And then y'all want to rev this up again, you know, rev it up even more, put us in survival mode. Quite frankly, I think you're going backwards. You wish you can go back to, you know, to the 1700s or something, when you was putting us up there on the chopping block and auction us off. I think that's where you're trying to go with this. But I know with me, what my ancestors been through, I'm gonna be a John horse. I'm gonna be a John horse before I let you put your hands on me. Before I let you put your hands on me or treat me any kind of way, I guess we would have to go to war. I'm not doing no more marching. I ain't doing no more talking. I ain't doing no more voting. You know, I don't give a damn about that. And it really, you know, it really concerns me when I see people of color that look like us in this government. And my thing is, you ain't overthrown it yet, because if they was in that's what they did to our government. They overthrew it. They set up their own political stuff and did stuff. Why not do it back? See, this is about justice. This is about justice. That's real hoodoo. Y'all all need to be somewhere as some hoodoo practitioner cooking up some stuff on them. You can't fight them with their religion. But you can use the ancestors to resolve the problem. See, I'm not staying up. I don't want to stay here any longer than I have to. Don't want to be here now. I don't want to be here now. So if it's any point that we should be practicing hoodoo, it should be now more than ever. It's any time that we should be close to our ancestors, it should be now more than ever. Now more than ever. Not listening to these leaders who have been leaders for decades, so-called black leaders. Most of them are boule. They serve the king. They bow to the king. So, yeah, that is hoodoo. Hoodoo is healing. And had I not been healing, because I see a lot of people, they jump into hoodoo and they really don't know the structure of it. They don't know the struggle behind it. Hoodoo is not always pretty. It's not always lovely. It's not always that. You understand? It really started as a healing mechanism, and to reap the goodness out of life. Okay, that's what hoodoo is. And it is more than healing, because before you start picking up stuff and doing stuff to people, if you don't have the right emotional maturity, then it could backfire on you. You got people out here, they want to do hexes. They always want to put somebody up under spell. Why? Why do you have a need to control? And before we do any type of spell work, we should be going to our ancestors first, especially if we're doing work on anybody. No matter how mad you are, again, if you're healing through this, it's your ego at play. Because it's sometimes on this journey, you're going to be told to keep your peace, keep your mouth shut, and move on. Because sometimes spirit can't protect you when you get out of alignment. You can't match folks' energy all the time. But you can take it to the altar and see some results, get some answers. You can do that. Now, I see a lot of people that's doing that. And it's not till I got on my healing journey, I was never really interested in doing work on anyone. It was really doing work in my life, because that's what hoodoo is. Hoodoo is all about healing your life, getting yourself in alignment with these cosmic energies to manifest your desires. At some point, you're going to have to do some healing work. If you choose not to do that healing work, then it can turn on you. Again, this is psycho-spiritual as well. If you have to go in there and do a hex to a person, what do you have to do? Again, you have to lower your vibration. Think of all these negative feelings that you have to put that hex on that person. That person did nothing to you. You could, I don't know, you feel some kind of way or whatever. And then when that comes back, how does that look when that comes back on you? Again, this is psycho-spiritual, because you're using your mind. Again, this is mind and willing your mind. When you're doing that, you're showing that you don't have self-control. And when that comes back on you, you're going to experience as depression, negative thoughts. You might have bad luck to show up. You might even have health problems. So they can show up any kind of way. Is it, can hexing be justified? Absolutely. Absolutely. If you go about it the right way. But if you're doing hexes and stuff because you're mad at somebody and all, you're just not mature. You haven't did enough work on yourself. Then that can that can come back and bite you in the butt, because I see so many people, they want to do this, they want to do that. They think hoodoo is full of spell. No, it's about healing. I've been angry, so angry that I went to my ancestor altar, because I talked to them about everything. That's what the altar is for. That's what the ancestral relationship for. If I'm feeling angry or upset about something, whatever I got going on, I go to that altar and I just talk to them the way I'm talking to you. I talk to them the way I'm talking to you. And I was like, I don't know what to do. This is what I want to do. Now, I might leave there and do a reading, or I might start getting messages from them intuitively. And when you communicate with your ancestors, that's the first form of mediumship. You improve your mediumship, being able to talk to spirit, when you engage in conversation and connection with your ancestors. That's a byproduct of it. And especially when you're doing the healing. Okay? That's one reason why I created the Know Thyself course. You need to know what wounds are speaking to you. If these are wounds, your inner child is speaking to you. Is this your spirit guide or your intuition or your ancestors speaking? You need to know what's going on with you. You need to be able to assess you at all times. Know about you at all times, so you can always stay in alignment with spirit. Psychology means the study of the soul. If you don't know your family pathology, if you don't know your habits and traits, and understand the trauma that you have inherited, not just generational, but familiar too, that can knock you out of alignment. So there needs to be some balance there. We need to know our psychology and start doing some soul work. Now, some of our ancestors had the opportunity to do it. Some of them didn't have the opportunity to do it. But the more you do healing work, you become a better healer and you elevate. Again, this is soul work too. You elevate spiritually. That's the initiation. Shadow work and knowing yourself is like shamanism. It's exactly like shamanism. When you start, when you go through the Know Thyself course, you should be able to go to my website and get it there. But you go through that course, it is just like shamanism, because you get a chance to know yourself. You become in alignment. Your intuition heightens. All that come with it, and you get a chance to purge, remove all those blockages mentally and emotionally, because it's still stuck in your energy field. That trauma, even that generational trauma, is still stuck in our energy field. It doesn't go away. It doesn't just go away. It takes us effectively being conscious and aware of the pathology in order to heal it. And I'm very aware of my generational trauma. I'm aware of what happened to us. Okay? That's why I'm not going to stick around here for this. I already seen what they put my ancestors to. That was the lesson. I seen the trauma. When the hell I would stick around here and go through this for some more generations. Hell, our ancestors are tired. They are tired. That's why we so tired. We don't want to do this stuff. A lot of us, we don't understand this work stuff. We don't understand why y'all keep going up on this stuff, because frankly, this is ridiculous. We're tired. We had no life. And then you want to wait till we're 65 years old to get some retirement and really live the life we want. That shit don't sound fair. Again, putting us in your box, your matrix to serve your agenda. I choose to live out of those confinements. I know life ain't got to be like that. This is the life y'all want us to live. You want to keep us working, keep us slaving, so we can't live. We're just surviving. That keeps us in survival mode. You can't heal if you're always trying to survive. We deserve to be in a place of thriving and living and not just trying to survive. That's not normal. It's not that I talk, and I've been knowing this, but it's interesting to talk to other Chinese people. When I'm talking about Chinese people, it's good to talk to other people and see their perspective of the United States or our government. And it was interesting to hear, there's like, y'all slaves. Your government don't even care about y'all. They don't care about y'all the way they do y'all. They don't want you living. They want y'all surviving. Y'all need to get out of there. That's not healthy. We've been saying this for a long time. And then a lot of them start sharing the propaganda that America tries to tell them to get them to immigrate over here, telling them we live in a great life and all this sort of stuff, and we got everything we need, and we take care of our citizens. I said, that's not just a lie. That's a damn lie. It's not just a lie. It's a damn lie. This is what they do. And you can't, it's so crazy because, too, there's so much deception up there. They'll get somebody and hire somebody that look just like us to infiltrate us. They have always did this. They don't send nobody in there that don't look like you to infiltrate you. They send somebody who look just like you. Okay? And men have tried. I've talked about that subject enough. We are changing polarity. The divine feminine is coming in here. I talked about that on my other channel the other day. That's another shift that's happening. A lot of shifts are happening in between this. But the most important thing is for us, people that look like me, to get our butt up out of here. If you can't be gone for a long time, be gone long term, at least get up out of here 3, 4, 5 months, as long as you can. As long as you can get yourself up out of here. Frankly, I don't want to leave here. I really don't, because many of my ancestors was born here. A lot of us was already here. We didn't come from no other country. Everybody don't come from Africa. Okay? I've talked about that before. Okay? Everybody don't come from Africa. So we have ancestors that are already born here. I don't want to leave here. I don't. America is a beautiful state. It's a beautiful country. United States America is a beautiful country, but the United States is corrupt that runs America. They have, they made it uninhabitable. They've made America uninhabitable. And so when that happens, our ancestors, they usually banded together and come up with their own communities. Oh, thank you, Angel Scott. We usually banded together as community, but we're so torn apart. And there's various things that's going on in our community. We have some men in our community are not willing to do their shadow work. We have women that's progressing in their shadow work and desiring not to be in relationships. We have that thing going on with us. We don't like each other for crazy reasons. It could be for crazy reasons, jealousy or whatever. Women, I think, are the worst at trying to get along with each other. We find more reasons to dislike each other than to love on each other. And we need each other more than ever, because we're the key. Black woman is the key. Black woman is the solution to get it together. She really is, because as she comes together and start healing, and we start healing, we are the one who give birth to the tribes, to the leaders. We are the first leaders. We are the first teachers. So if we get our house together and start healing and restructuring the political power, we will gain more political power. It's not going to be men. I know a lot of men don't want to hear that, but it's not going to be you, beloved. Okay, it's just not going to be you. I go into details about that. I don't mean to be disrespectful about that, but it's not going to be you. All of this started with a Black woman, and it's going to end with a Black woman. Okay, all of this started with the first mother, who was Black, that gave birth to humanity. And it's going to end with her. It never was supposed to be a man in the first place. I hope that made sense to you. And I mean that in the most respectful way as possible. And if we are to function together and to really grow and see change, the men will have to understand that the divine feminine, the God that they talk about, is divine feminine, and women embody that spirit. And they will have to treat us as such. Okay? Women would have to be in leadership roles again. And colonization has ruined that for some Black men, because they're under, they think, they have been programmed and colonized to think that men are supposed to be leaders. I know that's daunting. That's something that we have to decolonize. I saw that in, even going through my Hoodoo course, and seeing a lot of things that needed to be decolonized. Because again, I think a lot of us have, because it was passed on in the church, and it hid under Christianity, we have a lot of Hoodoo people trying to teach Hoodoo from a Christian perspective. Now, do I believe in the universal cosmic law? Yes, I do. Do I believe in the spiritual sciences? Yes, I do. There is spiritual science in Christianity. I think the spiritual science is more important than the religion. Let me say that. And that's what our ancestors understood, the spiritual science. You can call it metaphysics. They understood that. That's why a lot of them couldn't read, but they knew how to do Hoodoo. They didn't know the Bible scriptures, but they knew the herbs. They knew how to do Hoodoo. They knew the spiritual sciences, even though they couldn't read. I think that a lot of misconceptions come with that, which I've seen. So it's important that we understand it, and be careful when you're getting a Hoodoo teacher to understanding, I think that's a big thing, because is your Hoodoo teaching, is your teacher instructor, is they teaching you from a Christian perspective, or are they teaching you from an ancestral perspective? I think that's important. Knowing their story, that needs to hold more water than anything else. What worked for the ancestors? What how was the ancestors using that book as a conjure book and not for religion? Okay, I think that's important because that book was used as a conjure book. It was used for a spell book. It wasn't so much focused on Christianity. It was focused on the spiritual sciences that were in the book, the astrology that was in the book, because it's astrology in the Bible as well. And once you understand the spiritual sciences, you understand your ancestors, then you can use that book effectively. But I think that, using it, I don't like, I think Christianity has did its job on humanity, and that is a part of colonization, and that should be decolonized as well. So it's very important for you to understand that you don't have to be Christian to use hoodoo, but you can be a Christian and work hoodoo. Yeah, and you can use that Bible for a conjure book, not just for religion. So I hope that you understand that. And there's no, if somebody's telling you that you need to be initiated in hoodoo, go the other way, because they're lying. There's no initiation. Your initiation process is when you start doing the shadow work and healing. I promise you, especially if you go through I Know Thyself course, that first phase of that course that you get into, oh, baby, you're going to know everything that's wrong with you. You're going to know about the pathology, your pathology. You're going to know your family, because you need to know the dark side of your family and the light side of your family. You need to know which ancestors you can call on for certain things. That's going to break all that down. You're going to get a chance to know everybody, your pathology, and some of the wounds that you need to work on. You really learn forgiveness. You really learn compassion. Because the first thing you do is start healing yourself and looking at your psychology, looking at your family. That's truly ancestors work. You heard that a lot in the ATRs. We have to do ancestors work. You have to do ancestors work, even in the ATR. If you're going into Ifa, if you're going into Voodoo, if you're going into Yoruba, if you're going into, any of these other ATRs that you choose to go into, the first thing they're going to do is get you in alignment with your ancestors. You have to do ancestral work. You have to do character work. You have to be in alignment. Okay? And you're going to know, it's only so far you're going to get in the practice when you're not doing the healing work. Because again, you're serving the ancestors as well. So when you start healing, you are elevating the ancestors as well. Yeah, that's elevation. That's ancestors work. You'll see that it might go back different names in the ATRs, but it's the same thing. Hoodoo is the same thing. Okay? So you don't have to be initiated. Once you start doing that ancestral work, you start working closer with your ancestors. You start learning how to feed your mind, your spirit, how to take care of your mind and your spirit. Because see, our ancestors wouldn't have been great hoodoo practitioners had they not known how to heal themselves and knew their own psychology. Because you're going to need your mind and your emotions to do a lot of this work you want to do. And so the more that you know how your mind and your emotions work, the better you'll be. Now, this comes up sometimes when I'm counseling people. Astrology do come up because I've been studying a lot about astrology here lately. But I've been seeing it a while in my readings when I do readings. But what I see in readings, when there are fixed signs, that's why I say the counseling come in comes in handy when you're doing that shadow work. Connecting with me comes in handy when doing that shadow work, because I'm going to assist you with the help of the ancestors, your spirit guides. I'm going to help you transmute and start getting more medicine out of your healing. Have you shifting your thinking. Okay, that's what a lot that goes on, because you have to be able to shift that thinking and bring in more light. Okay, so what I see in fixed signs such as what is it, Leo, Scorpio, it was another one, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Those fixed signs, when you're a fixed sign like this, understanding that astrology is the first form of psychology. Astrology is an ancient form of psychology. That's why when you read up the different signs, all of them have different characteristics. Okay? They have different personalities. They have different ways of thinking. Okay? So when I see the fixed signs and they're going through some, I always recommend that they take a slow or pace to healing, because it takes a little longer for them to shift. Okay, depending on the sign. And I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. Depending on the sign, it would take longer to shift. And again, I'm gonna look at your moon sign and look at any other placements that could be influencing your healing journey as well. So, and I sit down, I go through all that with you, let you know what I see and things that may be coming up. And I find that to be 30 or 40% accurate. Okay. It's 30 to 40% accurate. I think that's pretty good. So when I'm able to look at that, I'm able to provide some insight, maybe things you didn't know, but you always felt, and give you different approaches to gain the most out your healing. So with fixed signs, it's good for them to make small goals to make big progress. Don't make a goal to make big progress for fixed signs. That's not going to work with you, because you're going to get upset with yourself because you're not going to be able to shift as fast as you want to see that big progress. If you want to see the big progress, take tiny little goals and then make another tiny little goal. And then another time, and then before you know it, you have made that big progress. So they don't need to go too fast or feel overwhelmed. They need to go slow. For example, my mother was an Aquarius. And Aquarius is an air sign. It is a fixed sign. Even though the Aquarius is innovative, creative, smart. She was smart. She could play a trumpet. She can play was the trumpet and the French horn. I think it was the trumpet and the French horn. She could play both of those. She knew how to write with both of her hands very well. It looked, some people can't write with the hand they don't use. It'll look all scribbly or whatever. No, not her. It was perfect, even with the hand that she didn't use. She could use her left hand. I found that fascinating about her. However, in her thinking, in her judgment, because a lot of that trauma had been passed down to her, she got stuck in her thinking. For example, this is one of her thoughts, and that really impacted us as children. She thought just because she was grown, she could do anything she wanted to do. You couldn't stop her. I can do this because I'm grown. I can get drunk and lay out in the street because I'm grown. You don't tell me what to do. It was that type of thinking, that old thinking that had been passed on to her by my grandmother, by my grandfather. Children are to be seen and not heard. Again, another trauma. whoopings that was passed on. The slave master beat them and whooped them. They came home and beat them, and then that got passed on to my mom. She would, whoop us. That's why I tell my children, I say, my mama couldn't be your mama, because you be laid out in the floor somewhere. You be subject to get punched in the face, hit with a stick, beat with an extension cord. That's the kind of stuff, that did they mean to pass that down? Absolutely not. They did not. But there was no therapist back then. A lot of them was alcoholics, became addicts, or took on some other dysfunction. Okay. And so if my mom would have gotten therapy, it probably would have been a lot different. But that's just one example of how it was hard for her to ship. Okay. And again, she was an Aquarius. Let's talk about the Leo, because the Leo and Aquarius also represent the ankles too. We need our ankles, don't we? So let's talk about the Leo here. That's another fixed sign. I'm only going to talk about what the things, I'm familiar with, that I've personally experienced. The Leo represents the heart and the back. It is a fixed sign. Leo are like the life of the party. They love to have fun. They can have fiery tempers as well. But the thing with the Leo, there's nothing wrong with being angry, but the Leo can hold grudges. The Leo can hold grudges just the same way they love you, in the same magnitude they love you is the same magnitude they can hold a grudge towards you. They can get stuck in that anger sometimes. Leos, it's possible, it's good to love, but sometimes we can love the wrong thing. We can love things that's not healthy for us, and sometimes we don't see it. Okay? So sometimes Leo can love the wrong things for them. And it takes them a long time to see it sometimes. Okay? Because of that big heart, because they, they love deeply as well, that can be a problem for them. Scorpios, they have to deal with a lot of betrayal. And so that closes them off. They think deeply. When they look at a situation, they don't just look at a surface situation. Scorpios, they don't just look at surface situations. Sometimes they can overanalyze or go too deeply with things, overthink things, or look too deeply at things that's not there. Okay. And sometimes they have a morbid sense of humor, some of them. But you don't want to cross the Scorpio as well. Scorpios can be revengeful. They can be really revengeful when they want to. Okay. And that's some of the things, that's just basic. I'm talking about in general, that I've seen when dealing with signs. Me, myself, looking at me, because I'm a Sagittarius, looking at my own psychology, I have a lot of Scorpio placements. It's scary. It is so scary. And then I think I have something in my fourth house. Fourth house is in Saturn, I think. Is Aries. Third house. Okay. It's in the third house. So I look at that, and what is the issue with me? One of my things, and I have a Chiron too. So when I see that Chiron in there, I know it's my trauma. I mean, I have that right at the beginning of my chart. I'm like, okay, the trauma, I see the trauma there. I also see a bit of the breakdown in communication. Okay. And that stems a lot too from the way I think. Okay. Being on the autistic scale, that comes up. I saw it in my, I was like, oh my gosh, it's right there. It's right in my chart. I saw that in there. The Scorpio placements there. I think Scorpios have a lot of psychic energy as well. I see where a lot of the psychic energy comes in at. I see where all the philosophy and theology and esoteric knowledge comes in at. What is my rising sign is, I think, a Capricorn. So I can see the masculinity and the trauma in that Capricorn being in my my moon sign as well. Okay, so I see all that trauma, all that anger, all that. These are the things I need to work on. Okay, I need to work on my communication. I need to slow down and really understand my communication, making sure I'm communicating well. I need to make sure that, because it took me a long time to forgive. And forgive, I talked about that. I'll talk about that in a minute. It took me a long time to forgive, and a lot of that had to do with the trauma and a lot of that Scorpio energy. Because I was just, I wanted them to hurt like I did. I want them to experience some of the things. Those are the thoughts that I was feeling, and it was because of that Scorpio energy. So it took me a time, and I think forgiveness was the hardest thing for me, because I was so upset because I could not forgive. Like, in my heart, even though we can say we forgive with our mouths, because that's what's expected of us. I think that's so deceptive too. And I say, I cannot forgive. God, I want to forgive them so much, ancestors. I really, really do. I want to, but it's not in my heart. And the spirit was like, how can you forgive something you haven't healed from? You haven't moved to a place to forgiveness. You have to get there. It's easy to forgive someone who stepped on your shoe. It's easy to forgive someone who accidentally bumped into you. Those are things, that could be instantly forgiven. But when it comes to betrayal, and you've been, you have soul wounds, that takes healing. That takes healing. You have to get to a place of forgiveness. And I think that is a mistake. That is a mistake. And I don't believe that everybody don't deserve to be forgiven, depend on what the nature of the offense. That's why we got justice work and hoodoo. Like, sometimes some people, you couldn't go if you had a husband that was beating you and doing all this stuff to you. You didn't have a shelter to go to. You didn't have a shelter to go to. You would have to go to, to the mother of the church, somebody who was a prayer warrior, who knew the spiritual arts, and fix that, get that fixed for yourself. I talked about that on this channel. So a lot of that is where that comes from. A lot of that is where that comes from. So you have to get to a place of forgiveness. And so astrology comes into play. We think it doesn't come into play, because I was under that mistake too. I was like, it doesn't, it doesn't come into play. And then the more I start healing myself and looking at myself, I had to go look at my astrology chart, because truly you are a star. We are all stars on a path. And we start looking at it like that, you see your higher self more. You working out of your higher self, if that makes sense. So that's a big part of the journey. That is the initiation. Each time especially when I first started going through this, I felt like I was going through an initiation process. I felt like it with all the stuff that was going on, the instant feedback that I was getting from the ancestors, the things they were showing me, some of the rituals they showed me to do. It felt like an initiation process. It did. So if somebody's telling you that you have to initiate in hoodoo, it's not necessary. It's not. That's why it's a closed practice. Only people of the dysphoria, so-called dysphoria, or who experienced the generational trauma of our ancestors are allowed to practice it. And a lot of it is familiar too. It's more familiar to anything. What do I mean by that? I have seen people do hoodoo work that I have seen no other person do. So it'll look different in different families. Some families do different things. Okay, some families, they just do different things. They might practice their work totally different from somebody else, and it still works. Their grandmother showed them how to do that. So now they do it. They see how that magic was passed on familiar. So it's usually passed on familiar, and you see it a lot in the rural area. You'll see it a lot of, and you can see it in the spiritualist church, but again, they don't call it that. They do not. Hoodoo is it's virtually new. It's a new term. It is a very new term because we didn't, our ancestors didn't call themselves that. And you probably seen it, them prayer pins they put in your clothes. You remember them prayer pins they used to have? And they put them prayer pins in your clothes. I know I remember it. I'm Gen X. And they'll put them prayer pins in your clothes, or they'll pin a handkerchief that's been prayed over. They'll pin that in your clothes. I know they pin stuff like that in our clothes for protection. Or they had you drinking something. Every winter we would have to drink this. I don't know what that stuff was. It was the most disgusting thing I've ever tasted in my life. But it was this brown stuff. The stuff tastes like snuff. Oh, Lord, it was so nasty. And if you spit it up, you had to take it again. And sometimes they had a belt in their hand and the medicine in the other hand, making sure that you took that medicine so you wouldn't get sick. So that was another thing. That again, that's a part of hoodoo as well. Then I had my great grandmother used to make this concoction for back pain. There was rumors that she used tobacco in it. There was rumors but nobody knew how she made it. But I mean, it was very effective for back pain. So if anybody in the family had any back issues or whatever, they would go to her and she would make up that concoction. Again, that's just this hoodoo. We dismiss it. A lot of us dismiss it when we see it. I know I dismissed it. I was just like, okay. My mom took me to a root workers. At that age, I didn't know that those are root workers. They was calling them midwives and healers, prayer warriors, things like that. I didn't know she was taking me to a root worker. But now that I look back at it, that's exactly what that woman was. She was a root worker, and everybody in the community would come to her for all types of issues they had going on. Her name was Miss Judy. Everybody went to Miss Judy. for everything. They didn't go to the, to the doctor. You see them all over Miss Judy porch. A whole bunch of people be waiting outside Miss Judy house to come see her. So, and that again, she didn't call herself that. So we're it's still a lot of us out here. It's still a lot of them out here. But again, if you don't know the language, if you don't know the little cues, the little stuff they leave out their house, like the horseshoe over the door. What is another one? Those look black lamadams they used to put on the back, look like little black Aunt Your Mamas. Those, you see them outside some people's house. Those are little indications there, that person could be possibly a hoodoo worker, but it's different in every area. Arkansas hoodoo gonna be different from Alabama hoodoo. Again, it depends on your environment and what herbs are available to you in that environment. What's available to you? Okay, so it's going to look different. I had my daughter's aunt. I let her keep her one time, and she had a bad diaper rash. I could not get rid of it. I used Desitin, I used A&D ointment, and it just wouldn't go away. And she spent the weekend over there, and then I went to pick her up, and I got her home, and I changed her. I was like, it was gone. Diaper rash was gone. It was no longer there. I was like, what the hell? I was like, how did she do this? How was she able to get rid of it? And so I called her and I said, Pumpkin, how was you able to get rid of this diaper rash? Because I've been working on this diaper rash for about 2 weeks now, and it would not let up. And she said, oh, I did what my mama taught me to do. And I was like, what was that? She said, I took some flour, burnt it in the pan, and put it on her bottle, and it cleared up the diaper rash. I had never heard anything like that before. Okay, I don't know if you have or not. Have any of you heard of using burnt flour for a baby's diaper rash? Yes, this I heard you. Nurse Shirley said we just not want to hear. We are not. But she did that, and it cleared up again. And her mother was so-called Christian. Yeah, okay, you did when you lived in Tennessee. So it just tripped me out. So these are the things, that's hoodoo. That is hoodoo. That is the medicine. Knowing how to use herbs, and what you got in your kitchen for healing. I've done some things that I had never heard of hoodoo workers doing. Your ancestors, they'll lead you to do some work. You'll get that too. If you don't know how to do a certain thing, they'll tell you instructions on how to do it, and it will work. I've had that with my ancestors. I was like, I've never did this before. I've never heard anybody do it. That's like, just do it. Just do it. Do just like we tell you and how we tell you to do it, and it's going to work. And it absolutely worked. So it will look different in different families too. It won't be a one size fit all. Then you have some families, they good with working jars. They know how to work a jar. They know how to work water. They know how to work grass. The simple grass out there in your front yard, they know how to do that. So you'll see it look so much different. It'll look different and different. And not to say it's not hoodoo and it's wrong. It's not wrong. It's familiar. Keep that in mind. Mason-Dixon line. Okay. I've learned so much about skincare and wound care as a home care nurse below. Mason-Dixon line. Yeah, you learn a lot. You learn a lot. And it especially, I think I learned a lot because they say, when I was going through CNA school, they said Black people are the best caretakers in the world. This is what a white nurse told me. She said, the majority of the people that do this kind of work gonna look like you. Black people are the best caretakers. This is what a white nurse told me. So a lot of that stuff is just in us as well. To know how to, you have somebody being the first humans on the planet. So why wouldn't we be good caretakers? You raise some of their children better than they did. So know that a lot of that stuff is innate. Yep. We're the best caretakers ever. Best caretakers ever. So that ought to give you enough knowledge right there to know that a lot of stuff is already in you. All you need to do is start trusting it and talk to your ancestors, and they'll start leading you. It may not even make sense. And believe me, I think what gets people with hoodoo and with the ancestors is I don't think enough of us talk about the experience. We don't talk about, the experience with it. And I think if the more of us talk about the experience, stop telling people what they should do, what they shouldn't do, where to put their altar. Stop telling them that. Stop. Nobody has the right to tell you, your table is your table. If you can access Ashe off that altar, that's all that matters. Don't nobody have no control over that but you. This is you and your ancestors' magic. You might see me go on my ancestor altar like the other day. I said it was time to clean that altar off. And I cleaned the altar off, and I was gonna put it back the way I had it, but it didn't feel right. So I changed it all around. You might have, your ancestors might use you. They'll use you sometimes to change stuff around. They'll use you. Sometimes I move stuff and forget I moved it because it wasn't me moving it. It was them moving it. Sometimes you'll move stuff just out of, you'll unconsciously do it. You ever left something and put something down, then you forgot where you put it? That kind of what happens to me on the altar. They'll be like, oh, dang, I forgot I put that there. I didn't put it there. They wanted it there. So you will see it. So trust in that process all the time. And it's not one way that fits all. Your ancestors may have a different route of leading you, but ultimately most of the experiences will be similar. They won't be just alike because it's not a one size fit all, but they will definitely be similar. Okay. And we can learn by listening to other people's stories when it comes to their ancestors. Like some people, with the glass of water thing, they want to put a glass for every ancestor. I don't see a need for that. That's just me. But some people, they want to put 9 glasses up there. They want to put 7 glasses up there. Fine, I don't have no problem with that. It's not my altar. I don't have to work off of it. So to stop judging people and just giving them to the basic of how that altar work. Now you can get you some people get tarot cards to communicate with their ancestors. Some people use pendulums to start off like that. But I tell you, if you start off with cards or pendulums or whatever medium you use, at some point you ain't gonna need it no more. Because you're gonna start hearing them in here and in here and through your feelings. That's just like me when I was talking to my ancestors. They'll make pictures pop up in your mind too. or they'll make you remember something that you ain't thought about in a long time. You didn't even think that was in your memory anymore. They'll bring it up to surface. They can talk to you like that too, because remember that you carry them with you. They're inside of you. So that's just like when I was talking to the ancestors about what was going on here with us. They kept saying John Horse, John Horse, John Horse, John Horse. And I said, that's that man that defeated the United States Army, and them people couldn't stop that man. That man went up into Mexico and took care of all them people and got asylum for all them people in Mexico. And they got so mad at Mexico, what they call it, what is that? What do they call it? The battle. The battle. I can't even remember it now. I can't even remember. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Oh, it's right on the tip of my tongue. I can't even remember it now. But they talk about that, and Mexico had been in war with Spain for some years, if not hundreds of years, and they were taking a break from war. And the American people was trying to get them to go in there and sell half of the land. You know, Texas wanted that Alamo, the Alamo battle. So they talk about that. That was really about the United States going up in Mexico and trying to enslave not just John Horse them, but all the black inhabitants that were in Mexico, because there are black, they're still Olmecs, they're still pre-Columbian civilizations, black Mexicans, whatever you want to call them, that are in Mexico. And that Mexican governor, of course, he was half Spaniards too, because we have to remember that Mexico was colonized by Spain. So a lot of these people that called themselves, you know, because when they started mating with Spain, they became another people. They became Mexicans. Okay, we see that all over the world. They come up with these, you know, these mixed people like they did with us. When the French married with us, some of us became Creole. Okay, they were marrying black women, some of these French men. And so when they try to come in there, honey, they had a battle on their hands, because John Horse was training some of those soldiers, Mexican soldiers, teaching them how to defeat the United States soldiers. So they had a battle. I mean, John Horse gave them hell, and they just they didn't know how he was doing it. He was what they say he was trained in guerrilla warfare. Like he knew the art of war. Like, and it wasn't many of them. And they were defeating a lot of soldiers. A lot of soldiers were being unalived, messing with this small tribe of men. Defeated them every time. So don't tell me what the answer. Same thing happened in Haiti. Same thing happened in Haiti. They don't want to mess with Haiti like that. They're not going to tell you, you know, they damn near had to fight every living thing in that country, you know, because Haiti, they had the ancestors fighting with them. What does that mean? When you had the ancestors fighting with you, you'll see something like the Avatar, like something on the Avatar happen. Even the animals will attack what is not natural. Like you see what's going on in that water. What's going on in that water? People going in that water, you don't realize you going into another world, because water represents spirit. Water represents the kind of land of the ancestors. Because every time I have an ancestor has come to me, I don't know for everybody else, because I wondered too, when they first start coming to me, it would be about all this water. It would be so much water. And I was like, oh my God, what is this? Is this an ocean? Then I said, no, it's not an ocean. Then it looks sort of like a lake. I said, no, that's not a lake because a lake don't move like that, but it's this water that they reside, a lot of them embody. Again, this is spirit. And so when you're going in that world like that, and you're going into nature like that, that's where your ancestors are. A lot of them people that was going in that water, a lot of them didn't look like me. Them whales was acting a fool on them people, flipping over boats, flipping over yachts, flipping over. That's the power that our ancestors have. Just like that, what is another example? Remember that movie Moana? That cartoon movie, the grandmother, she wanted to come back as one of those starfish or whatever, a stingray or whatever. And at the end, she became a stingray. She experienced her grandmother through that animal. So the ancestors, you got to remember, our ancestors were natural people. When you see them doing ceremonies and stuff, what are they doing? Outside in nature. When I have did my rituals outside to the ancestors, I immediately look around and start getting signs in nature that they're present. Okay? So that's what happens when you start interfacing with your ancestors. You'll start seeing them show up as an animal spirit. You got to remember, we're indigenous people. We have a close relationship with the land. So when they start, when Haiti got into that war with them, they not going to tell you everything. They not going to tell you, not even the animals was resisting them, was fighting them. That's why they didn't take their tail back over there and mess with them people. You couldn't go back over there because that whole island put you off of it. Kind of what you having today with this stuff going, all these natural disasters that's coming in America. What they're doing, because our ancestors, so much blood is spilled on this land. That's why I'm not worried about it. So much blood is spilled on this land. So many ancestors come from this land that the land itself is going to shake you off of it. All of this is divine feminine now. It's going to shake you off of it. And that's the kind of power that we're in contact with. They don't want you talking to your ancestors because your ancestors is in the trees. Your ancestors is in the birds. Your ancestors are in the deer. Your ancestors are in the horses. Your ancestors are in the lion. Your ancestors is in the bear. Your ancestors is the hawk, the eagle. They know this. They don't want you talking to that, because when you start talking to your ancestors, you really access boundless power. Don't underestimate that. And I always trip off of people too who want to go to Africa, go somewhere else to be initiated into their religion, because there is a religion. When you're going over there getting initiated like that, it's a religion. It's like jumping out of one frying pan to another. That's why I studied voodoo. And in hoodoo, we studied voodoo. We studied that. You can go into that. That's why hoodoo is so broad. That's why I like hoodoo, because it's so broad. It's so broad. It is not a one size fit all. But you find people going over there getting initiated, and I've heard this a couple of times, going to Africa somewhere, get initiated, and then they get messed up. They come back in a psychosis. They come back crazy. They come back really needing healing. They were supposed to go there and get healed and get alignment. Then they come back in a psychosis. Why is that? Because you bypassed all these ancestors here on this land, going to another land, another lineage of ancestors. You ain't born over there. You've never been over there. You're probably not even from there. Connecting with somebody's other tribe, somebody's ancestors. You got your own tribe right here. It is called hoodoo. It's called hoodoo. I think it's a disrespect to dishonor the ancestors on this land Get in alignment with them first and let them tell you where they want you to go. Initiation is not for everybody. A lot of people trying to get that to build a name for themselves or all that sort of stuff. When I don't care how you do it, you still gonna have to put in that spiritual work. Somebody, you know, I think that be the real issue there. Why did you go over there and dismiss all these ancestors here who spilled their blood, was hung from trees, who had church out there in the wilderness, who used this land to heal themselves, still here, they're still here, and go way over there and connect with some ancestors you don't even know. Your ancestors wasn't from there, wasn't born from there, probably never been there, and go calling their ancestors to help you. And then you wonder why things didn't turn out right. There's something to consider. So I think we have to change the way we look at hoodoo. And I saw that a lot, I think that's where I had a disagreement with someone, because she was trying to say that, teach hoodoo like everybody. We have this because everybody came from Africa, we came from slaves. And I'm saying, no, that's not the case, because remember, this is a mixture. Remember, hoodoo is mixed. It's mixed with 3 sorts of spirituality or esoteric or occult knowledge. The first one is Indian, is American Indian. Okay. What is the second one? It's got some European influence in it as well. Okay. Got some European influence. And I think the other one, if I'm not mistaken, it's got African in it as well. Okay. So those are the 3 things that it has in there. Those are 3 things that it has in there. So a lot of us have American and African blood. But what I think that there is more American blood in us than it is African, because of all the breeding that went on here in America, the way they were breeding us. So you have a lot of us that have African blood, but most of it, the quality of it is American Indian. And when they created hoodoo, when hoodoo was created, there was no need to go outside of it. That was created for us, by a blend of people, a mixture of dark people. Okay, that's why you'll see it look different. You got the Appalachian hoodoo, you got the Alabama hoodoo, you got your Tennessee hoodoo. It's gonna look different in different places. Not to say that it's wrong, it's familiar, it's environmental. So I see, some people, oh, you doing that wrong, or we don't do it like that, or we don't. You may not. Some people don't use candles. They don't burn candles. They like doing jars. They like doing powders. They like doing oils. They like doing other stuff. They're good at other stuff. So it just all depends on you. You will have to play with it and see what works. Go to your ancestors, see what works. Do a reading with your ancestors, see what works. Because the more you work with it, the more you find out what works. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about hoodoo? I know I talked a lot on this channel. There's a lot of information on this channel about hoodoo, about types of ancestors, what to do if you come from generational trauma, if you come from a dysfunctional family and you just don't want to honor those ancestors just not good to you. Then I talk about this. I talk about that on the channel too, when it comes to types of ancestors. Lil B, is that what you said? Al B. I think that's what you said. Okay, Nurse Shirley, that's cool. So if you need in there, we have free ebooks on the website too. One free ebook is Reclaiming the Divine Feminine. That's on there. That's okay. And then what's the other? It's an ancestral and shadow workbook that's free on there too. Okay, so that'll kind of get you started with doing your ancestors work if you're interested in that. That book is not for a beginner. Let me stop right there. It is not for a beginner. This book is for if you have your ancestors altar up and you feel like it ain't doing what it's supposed to do, it ain't got that ashay like you wanted to have. That book is for this. Okay, that book is about going into the ancestral realm, talking with your ancestors, doing a lot of healing work with your ancestors. That's what that book is for. If you ready to build some ashay up on your altar, you ready to elevate your ancestors, you ready to do ancestors work to really find out what it's about, what they be doing in the ATRs, why they're so big on ancestral work. Voodoo is very big on ancestral work. You can't really go grow or go up or elevate in voodoo if you ain't doing ancestral work. I think Ifa is like that too. You're going to hear them talk about the ancestors more than anything before going to the Orisha, before going to some of the lords. They're going to go to the ancestors first. Because what we need to understand as well, when we're dealing with ancestral spirits, you know, you hear the name Orisha and you're thinking they're more powerful than the ancestors. Not necessarily, because it's the ancestors that some of the Orisha were born out of, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense to you. You'll see that with Shango, with a lot of them. So we have a lot of archetypes in Hoodoo too. You have John Horse, you got Black Hawk, you got Marie Laveau, you got Aunt Caroline Dye. I can go on and on. You got Dr. Buzzard. You got what is another one? We can go on and on. We got other indigenous archetypes too that's here. And I've been in, you'll see some of them. Some of you, when you meditate, you might see an owl. You might see a bear. You might see, you know, a different animal. Know that that animal may have been associated with a particular tribe of your ancestors. You know that, because again, this is a part of this is what's left over of our indigenous practices. That's what Hoodoo is. It's everything that we kept, you know, that we grabbed for ourselves because a lot of us couldn't, you know, remember a lot of our spiritual practices. It got lost because we were prisoners of war. So think about it that way too. And the most powerful magic or rituals you can do is outside in nature. If you have the liberty to go outside and do connect with nature or doing the rituals outside, do them. I promise you, you're going to see your ancestors talk to you. They're going to talk to you through birds, butterflies. You're going to see them. They're going to pop up. You're going to get a sign. Okay? But know that you have the power to work Hoodoo. You have it already in you. The only thing you need to do is start talking to your ancestors and just go from there. And if you're interested in doing any core work to elevate and to strengthen your spiritual energy, Go to our website, get those free ebooks, sign up for our course. We got a Reiki course as well. 1, 2, and 3. So if you're interested in Reiki, we have that on the website as well. All of our readings are 30% off. That's really good for a 30-minute reading. What else do I have sales going on? Because I want you to get the discounts. Oh, we have a sale on all our stones and crystals. We have them ranging from $5 on up for a bag of crystals, like a bag. Some of them a pound or less. So take advantage of that. You need some crystal towers. We have our towers as low as 2 for $10. Our African bloodstone towers, aventurine towers. So if you're interested in trying to put more crystals or beef up your crystal collection, go look at our website. We have some awesome deals going on right now. You're going to be surprised. We have sales on our jewelry as well, as low as 30% off. So there's plenty of sales there. And I think it's also a payment plan. If you say, hey, I don't want to spend all my money at this time, I'm trying to save a little money, there's payment plans available as well over there. Okay. But if you have any questions about Hoodoo, I don't mind if I can help you. You tell me what's going on. If I can help you and have you do some work for yourself, because I get those sometimes. I had somebody to come in the other day and he was trying to sell his car. And for the life of me, he was like, how do you have any work for a car? And I was like, no, I don't. I can't think of anything. The only thing I can think of is you probably need to do a road opener and maybe do some money work. But I don't have anything specific about a car. I had another gentleman calling me and he thought somebody had put something on him, and I helped him with that. And I was like, call me, your ancestors, like, tell him to do this and tell him to do that. And I told him what to do. And he said, okay, I feel better. Wow, I feel better. And he was wanting me to help him with some other stuff. But I had to cross the line because I'm not going to help you manipulate another person and you won't tell me what's going on. It doesn't seem justified. You're not telling me, because the ancestors like, he ain't telling you everything. Don't do it. See, like I tell you, all money ain't good money, and all money ain't good. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I can't put him out, because you can make the mistake and put the wrong person up there trying to do some work, and then you got your spirits mad at you because you ain't got no business, crossing that boundary like that. So I was like, no, he said, well, thank you so much for helping me. I said, you're welcome. So if it's something that I know that you can do for yourself, and it's something going on, I know you can do something for yourself, I can help you with that. But if it's something that I know you're going to need help with, then I'll tell you that as well. Okay. So let me know if there's anything going on with you. If you're needing my help, you can DM me. I'll give you as much information as I can, especially if I know you can help yourself. You can do the work yourself. If you need assistance, I'll let you know that. Go take a look at our website. We have a lot of stuff on sale. You're not going to be able to beat, especially the prices for the towers and the stones. So go take a look at that. You're going to be amazed. Okay. So if you have any questions, any comments, put them in that chat and I will answer them. Bye-bye.